Welcome to the Art of Dispute. I am your host, Joe Orsak.
And I'm your co-host, Chris Minamyer.
And we agree on pretty much
Absolutely nothing.
America, you're about to witness three total strangers.
A musician, an artist, and a business professional.
We brought them together to talk about a really hard subject that they had no clue what it was before they got here.
All in the hopes that we can teach you, America, that we can discuss the most controversial topics.
Without being jerks to each other. Imagine that. So stick around, watch the fireworks, because we're about to go live. Art of Dispute, the only show where you can be friended and offended all in the same doggone hour, because that's just how we roll. America, you know, I think we have a problem. We got a problem.
No.
We do have a problem.
Oh, we don't have a problem. Which one?
We have no problem.
We have a litany of problems.
What's our problem, Chris?
The problem is the zero to Nazi effect, which is the time it takes for someone to go from zero to you're a Nazi when you post something beer already started. When you post an unpopular opinion and takes no time at all, go from zero to you're a Nazi, and now go outside and burn your car down and everyone's upset. So we got a show here today. We're here to fix that.
That's right. That's what we're here to do.
Great topic to do it.
Heck yeah. So we've got a great topic we're going to be talking about. All of our wives are going to be watching this episode, our significant others.
Speak for yourself.
One of the wives in the room, she's already taken a boot off.
Half cocked.
Right? So it's going to be a doozy. So polyamory, monogamy, what were humans intended for? What's the best way? Is monogamy just some crazy old idea that's just outdated, that sort of thing? What? Excuse me. Is that what's best? We're going to argue about it, but before we get into it, we're going to make sure we introduce our guest here. We got a great panel on today. Mr. William Ward here, right to my left. Yeah, William Ward and the Conspirators. That's your band, right?
That is. Yeah.
Welcome back, man. Welcome back to the show.
Great to be back.
Yeah, it's
y'all
been a
come
minute.
a long way. I've been watching, and y'all got a lot of good topics and good conversation, and I'm glad to be here and be part of it.
Well, people can find Mr. William Ward here and the Conspirators at William Ward and the Co-Conspirators on Facebook. That's where you want to look him up. Got a lot of great music. He's got a killer song for you guys at the end of the show. Can't wait to let you guys hear that. We already got a little rendition of it while he was warming up, so rock and roll on that. And one funny thing that that William said, I find this hard to believe.
I know, everybody does.
He said that one funny thing about him that most people don't know is that he is a nerd.
All the way to the core.
Oh, yeah.
What are you nerd out on, man?
What are you nerd out on? Like a secret Star Trek?
I love Star Trek. My mother watched Star Trek.
Got a whole collection of Star Wars figures.
Jordy was my favorite. You know, I got into the Star Wars thing. I like Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty?
Oh my God, I got a collection going up my wall.
Nice.
And,
Wow.
That's kind of. But I was country as a boot. But I don't know. That's kind of like my. What do they call that? Guilty pleasure. Nerded out a little while. So. I want to take a vacation at Comic-Con, but
All right.
you know, you got an image.
Jake Fu. What's going on,
Welcome
man?
back.
Yeah, welcome back. Jake was on.
That wasn't a Nazi salute, right?
I'm offended.
I'm offended.
Yeah.
Out of here.
Yeah.
You're a Nazi.
Yeah. I'll just speak
no German here.
All of my Illuminati wearing friends. I'm like, I see you. Joe is sold out to the Illuminati now. Hey, send me a check.
$20.
Somebody send me a check.
They keep reaching out to me on Instagram.
Yes. Yeah. Crazy people on Instagram. Jake Fu is your artist name. Your website, Dodo International Art Center.
Yes.
On Facebook. Very cool stuff. One fun thing that most people don't know about Jake, I can speak Chinese with a bad accent.
Yeah.
Okay.
With a bad accent.
Can I hear it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta hear it, right?
Okay.
Well, lots of time when I first come to American, people like, do you speak English? You know, and you sound so horrible back then. Now better. So my high school friend always making fun of me. Can you still speak like you were here in America the first time you saw it?
So now he's got English down. His Chinese sounds terrible. Apparently.
Yeah, that could have been a topic
Yeah,
earlier.
me too.
Yeah. H. Scott Apley.
Welcome back, dude.
Yes, sir.
Three.
A multi-visitor. Yeah. Oh no. No. Yes.
Oh man.
We just lost Germany. They're gone. They're gone.
We're on vacation.
H. Scott Apley for Dickinson, running for city council.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, nice. Yeah.
They need to change down there, don't they?
Yeah. Vote and vote often.
All the Republicans vote once, Democrats as many times as you like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Proven thing.
Yes. Vote Apley, Apley.com is his website. Highly recommend it. I don't live down there, so I can't vote for you, but he would absolutely have my vote if I did.
Run a P.O. box.
Might even do some drive-bys on his competition, but you know. Drive-by fruitings.
Fruitings.
One funny thing about you that most people don't know.
Say that I was kidnapped when I was 2 years old.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
For what reason?
Adorableness.
Yeah.
I'm about to kidnap you now. That wasn't
Oh my God.
We have started this show.
That's great.
Funny stuff, man.
I'm not
Wow.
sure what's in this cup,
Wow.
but it's great.
Yeah. Another round of vodka shots for William over here.
Oh, gotta get your potatoes in.
All right, so we got a fun topic here, guys. Polyamory versus monogamy, multiple partners versus single partners. Is monogamy just an outdated old idea? Is that something, you know, just some construct of our old societal norms and all that sort of thing? Would polyamory be better? What do you guys think? Let's just go down the line here. Just give me your bullet point thought on this subject, and then we'll dive in.
Relationships without monogamy are just just a relationship. You have no trust. You have no knowing of the true being of that person without spending every day with them and being faithful to one person.
Jay.
Oh, well, polygamy, I think, in the traditional Asian country, and it's been practiced for a generation, you know, because survivors, you know.
Yeah.
And like emperors and kings, they want as many concubines as much as possible, so they, in case any kind of war started breaking out, the family will continue the line. Yeah, but today is different. But we outlawed it. But I think creating different kind of social issue. So
Scott.
So let's just set the foundation first. And that's just the false notion of polygamy, right? Because guys are all like, man, this is a great idea. I can have all these wonderful, beautiful women. But you don't realize that what you're really going to have is all these horrible, nagging people.
Ooh, dang! They're bringing the heat. Getting so hot. I wonder what they're going to say.
How much does it cost you to watch TV? The average household pays between $100 and $150 every month. Finally fed up with the rising cost of cable and satellite? Cut the cord and start watching the channels you want at a fraction of the cost. With IXQ TV, you'll have access to thousands of live TV channels, including sports, movies, news, premium networks, kids channels, and even local channels for as low as $39 a month. Stream in HD on your TV, tablet, phone, or even computer with multiple devices streaming at the same time. IXQ TV requires no contracts or credit checks, no installation or cancellation fees, no bogus surcharges or hidden fees. $39 a month means $39 a month. Say goodbye to high cable bills forever. Visit mycablebillstinks.com today.
But you don't realize that what you're really going to have is all these horrible, nagging people who want you to cuddle and watch the view.
I think he's talking about me.
And so
Melissa's obviously not watching the show today.
So that's why I've only got one. That's why I've only got one. But I think
I was just like, guys thinking that we're going to have all these, women around and how wonderful. No, you don't realize they're going to start talking.
yes.
And then there's going to be more of them than you.
And their friends is going to be at the same time.
And then they're all going to gang up on you, and it's never going to go right for you. It's hard enough to win an argument when it's just one-on-one, but I mean,
You win?
now there's like 2 or 3.
What's this winning argument you talk about?
What's this winning argument you speak of? Yeah.
Can't even win an argument in there.
All male panelists.
Yeah. This is going to be a funny one for sure. All the male perspective on this. Yeah. So that's
Well, I mean, and so I know that everybody might not have the same central point of focus, which is for me is religion, and I believe that God created us to be in union with one woman. And so, I believe that we were created to be monogamous, but to disagree just a tad with William, I do think that we were also created as failed, flawed humans with we're animals. We're in the animal kingdom, and there is, I think, an inherent instinct towards procreation and spreading procreation. But God gave us His word and gave us reason to understand the value and the benefit of monogamous relationships.
Can I bring a point up that?
no.
Okay. I'm going to anyway. Where polygamy, let's get back to the origin of polygamy. Polygamy was created by powerful men to create their lineage. So they would have multiple wives, which they would actually get dowries and money from the fathers of these women, right? So why would I not take all this money to take this person's daughter as a wife, right? So it was more of a lineage thing then. So now, are you really trying? What is the purpose? You're not getting paid. Nobody's.
Let me flip
paying
the script for you on that. So I've read that some cultures, the opposite way, the female will be with multiple men. And I'd say it's
Not on my watch.
but as a community, all the men will claim that child.
Okay.
So now,
I've never heard of
yeah,
that.
it's a Aboriginal type, I think, like a smaller culture, but
Right.
in that aspect, because we're all men, we're all talking about multiple wives. Well, if you go the other way with multiple,
I think that's more
husbands.
of a tradition or a tribe trying to maintain in the tribe. You know what I mean?
A family
I feel
community?
I feel like that's
Yeah.
more of a different thing than a man, like say a Mormon guy. Nothing against Mormons, but they want multiple wives. For what purpose? You're not working the fields like it's 1845 anymore. You don't need 12 sons. You know what I mean? So
could
it's
use
more of an
12
excuse
sons.
for people to have sex in a reckless way. I
Put 'em
think
to work.
these days, without the repercussions.
I
of
think so,
being,
too. I think it's
being
like
looked
a-
at as if they're not being faithful, but you're not, because you can only marry one man, one woman. It does not say multiple. Yeah, but anyway.
Can you imagine more than one person wanting to marry Nancy Pelosi?
There it is.
It wouldn't go that way. It wouldn't work. It wouldn't work.
There it is.
I don't know how to respond.
Well, I think it has something to do with the responsibility too. For when you're
thought I
married to
needed-
one person, you have one responsibility to each other. When you marry multiple, partners, you're having different responsibility. Are you able to do all the job? You see.
Well, let me ask you this, guys.
Financially, yeah.
Kind of
another
spurred,
income,
kind of spurred by that thought, right? Gay marriage, that's been voted on and ran up the flagpole in the United States here, and that argument's been passed as a decision on. On what basis do we stop consenting adults then from saying, well, I'm a consenting man, this is a consenting woman, this is a consenting woman, we all want to live in the same household, it's economically the best principle for us, we're paying for one house note.
Double the marriage write-off.
Yeah, right. Taxes, and we all agree, and it's what we want. On what basis do we reject one if we accept another that's outside of traditional marriage construct?
I don't accept either. Marriage to me, for one, where does marriage come from?
Yep.
It's not like some guy just decided, okay, we're going to have a ceremony and be married. No, it came from God. It came from the Bible, right? So it also says in the Bible, thou shalt not, whatever it says, because gayness, so I'm not going to get into all that, right?
So same sex,
right, it's the same sex thing.
So let me ask you on that. Let me challenge you on this, right? From a historical point, we can certainly argue with plenty of credibility that the people that founded the nation did so based on Christian principles and this sort of thing, and feel that argument can be made very strong. But they also didn't mandate that you have to be Christian or anything else. Mm-hmm. So we have a society that, even from the construct of the founding fathers, doesn't enforce a religious view, which means we have plenty of people who don't believe in or accept those religious
You're talking
views.
Constitutionally, I'm talking religiously.
Right.
Okay.
And so this is kind of where I'm kind of challenging the position. How do we institute law? Like your argument's coming from a biblical view, right? Which I hold as well, right? Yet, how do we institute a society and rules and law, right, that include people who don't hold those views?
Well, that's two-forked. Number one is that Western civilization was founded and built and, has become prosperous based on those kind of values, because those kind of values are what create a society to flourish. However, I also tend to take a more libertarian view here, and where I say that I don't care what anybody watching this show or what anybody else in the world thinks about marriage. Marriage is a religious institution ordained by God. So if two,
so the government took
if two, and it was co-opted by the government, right? Probably to collect fees for marriage licenses or whatever. So my opinion has been, I think where we lost the issue is that we allowed the government to have any authority over marriage to begin with. If two people want to enter into some sort of civil contract, I think that they should be able to do that.
I think they entered the marriage realm because of a civil contract not going well.
And then the church should be the ones to determine, based on its values, i.e. the Word of God, whether or not it infers the passage or the right of marriage upon two people.
And that is an issue in the church now. It's where
Shaking over here.
Yeah.
Well, the early days,
he's saying from the state level, the state has no business recognizing marriage.
Neither does the church. For me, over anything, over me at least. You know what I mean? If you're going to give it to the church for power, I don't think the church should have any power over someone who doesn't believe.
He's agreeing. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying I think you might miss his argument.
I did.
From a state level, the state has no business in marriage at all.
Right.
Recognizing or otherwise.
Because what is marriage except for a contract?
Right.
And
so
two
the state's
adults
business,
should be able to enter into a contract.
Exactly. The state's business is purely just the contractual legal side of it, right?
Right.
Then the church is where marriage happens, and that's based on whatever faith you're practicing and whatever. You're this faith over here.
I guess my question would be, what if I married a Christian girl?
Ooh, yeah, there we go. That's good.
But it's
then
also
you're entering into a contract.
It's a lot of personal
she
choice.
is unequally yoked.
It is personal choice.
What do you mean? What if you marry a Christian girl?
Well, then
now you have one party that doesn't accept the rules of the church versus
Right.
yeah.
Well, that's between you and her.
That is really between you.
Well,
That's what I was saying about personal choice.
look, we are literally down to we've got to take a break. We've got a sponsor break that we've got to make happen here. So when we come back, let's kind of dive into that. Let's talk, because that's actually kind of an interesting aspect to this as well.
Brought to you by the show Big Love.
So nobody heard that, I don't think. Yeah.
Oh, we got it.
Yeah, it's on the mics. Yeah. So when we come back, we're going to talk about, I want to dive into this subject a little more. Like, what does the state have business in recognizing marriage, and how does it play out if it's between parties that don't have the same belief systems? Okay. We'll hit that when we come back from the break. We'll be right back. art of dispute. So, hey, thanks to the grain seller out in Humble for the free booze that they provide us.
That is great.
And they are fantastic. They teach everybody how to make their own beer, they make their own wine, cheese.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
In Humble, dude, you got to check them
You
out.
definitely gotta
I'm
go by
definitely
there.
gonna check that out.
Yeah.
Super, Preston, the guy that owns the place, super freaking cool guy. Total nerd when it comes to all the brewing stuff, man.
cool.
He can talk your ear off about it. And
Is that what I'm drinking right now?
these are craft beers.
Yeah.
These are local craft beers.
Okay.
So I mean, it's
Yeah.
people that are doing their own brew. So
digging
No,
it.
one of
I'm
the
digging
local
it.
craft beer.
Robert O'Keen. I'm digging it. Whoever made that one.
it is a good beer. It's a good beer. Yeah. If you want one, let me know. We'll hook you up. We got like 10 different beers in there. So, yeah, pretty cool stuff. I'm drinking probably the biggest local brewer, St. Arnold's. St. Arnold's Brown Ale.
Well, the biggest craft. I don't know.
Local
probably guys.
local brewer.
Bigger.
I think they're the biggest local brewer for sure.
I don't have a long enough beard for.
I mean, I'm not talking about like
or
Budweiser.
tight
or-
division.
No, I
I don't have
understand.
my
Yeah.
Yeah.
sunglasses.
I mean, there's a Budweiser plant here. I know they're not bigger than Budweiser. So,
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, fine.
so anyway, good stuff. Shout out. Appreciate it, guys. So we have a pretty interesting topic going on here: polyamory versus monogamy. What is the best for humans and that sort of thing. And then we kind of just before the break, we kind of got into a side topic here.
I had a question.
Oh, you got a question?
Well, that was my question. Was the what if the
yes.
I married a Christian girl?
Yeah.
I
So
forgot-
we're
I
like,
forgot my own
while America was rooted in Christianity and certainly our laws and that sort of thing were all influenced by Christianity. The founding fathers didn't put any kind of stipulation in place that you have to be a Christian to live in America, which inevitably means we will have plenty of people here who aren't Christian and don't accept Christian principles. So how do you make any kind of a biblical argument on what marriage is or isn't and how that should apply to the state when there's people who don't accept those laws? And before the break, Chris even asked the question, if it's left to the church, well, what about a situation where you have, a Christian that marries a non-Christian? And so now you've got two conflicting, worldviews there. And they may get along in every sort of way, but you still have a contract, kind of a relationship to figure out when it comes to dealing with the state. So anyway, my question, and we kind of got sidetracked into this part of the conversation earlier, was gay marriage has been argued, to the highest courts. On what basis do we as a society say
Enough's
that
enough.
that if that's allowed, then how do we stop somebody that says I want to be married to 3 women or 2 guys or anything? On what basis do we stop consenting adults that want to enter into any kind of civil contract? So run with that. I'll be over here drinking my beer.
Yeah, right now the constitution law is only marry one person at a time. So.
But so all government does is monkey stuff up and mess it up, really. And so all you
He's running.
Video production team, please throw in some monkeys.
all
I want to see some monkeys.
all you've done
love it.
If they could be wearing suits and ties and be in Congress, it would be even better.
all you've done is greased the slippery slope, right?
Right?
So now you've heard people say, well, this is ridiculous. At some point, they're going to try to say that you could be able to have a pedophilia marriage, or you can have a 3 cows and a donkey marriage, or whatever you want.
Cats
to
and
do.
dogs sleeping together.
And the
We're
truth
up here, we're on
is,
top of the hill.
and the truth
How far are you
is,
gonna
once
slide
you've
down?
established
Ghostbusters
that marriage is anything other than between one man and one woman, there's no bounds to which that can evolve. So my guess is that you will see once the idea of state sanctioned homosexual marriage has been basically completely mainstreamed and normalized, you'll see the follow-up version, which could very well be 1 man and 3 women, or whatever kind of different variety.
I don't see where there's a basis myself. I don't see where there's a basis for an argument against it if it's consenting adults agreeing to the contract, so to speak.
I mean, I agreed with that point earlier. I don't think that the state should be in the marriage business, you know. So yeah, if three people want to basically create a limited liability partnership or whatever they want to call it, you know, their business is
Marriage LLC Inc.
Yeah, you know, and then they determine the legal construction of that. But see, the other thing is that everything is tied into like taxes and stuff like that, which is just a great reason to get rid of the IRS like we should a long time ago, and don't have benefits and punishments for people based on their contractual agreements.
Right? Okay. What do you guys think? Jake?
Well, I think that makes sense. Yeah, I think it's a good argument. Yeah, but I think a personal choice comes down. Long time ago, marriage is union of families. You know, marriage creating more wealthy, so who you marry to is being forced into, you know, who marrying to who, like a Chinese tradition, you know, is about, you know, people don't even know each other, got forced into marriage. Yeah. So that's
I was making the case for arranged marriages to my son last night. So I'm not even joking.
I want to bring the religious part into this, okay? So, I'm a Christian. Here's the thing. Everybody has a choice to do whatever they want to do. If they choose to follow Christ, that's their choice. If they do not, we as Christians know what will happen to them. Now, that's their choice. That's my view. So, if they want to be gay and they want to get married, let them. You know what I mean? You're not going to change their mind by being angry. You know, and all you Christians
makes
out there,
me angry.
And all you Christians out there, you need to understand Christ would not be mad.
I stopped my foot. Y'all have to stop.
Yeah.
So why are we putting our thumb down? Like, this is so wrong. This is so... We made a choice in our faith. They made a choice in their own. I'm not going to be mad at them. You want to be transgender, you want to be
either, right?
gay, you want to marry a woman or not, or marry as many women as you want. Let them do what they want. Make it legal.
Yeah, the Bible says for us to love.
That kind of goes right into my question for you would be if you're saying that we go down the rabbit hole and you know everything becomes legalized and like where do we stop?
Dude! Good question, bro.
Oh man, it's getting good.
I wonder what they're gonna say.
That kind of goes right into my question for you would be if you're saying that we go down the rabbit hole and you know, everything becomes legalized and like where do we stop? As a society, we don't want marriage I don't want marriage in government hands, and if they take it and they run with it like that, it will no longer be marriage, it will be an LLC.
Yeah.
And so for like in my mind, I'm thinking that is the way to make it go away. You know, so no longer is it
What you're
a
saying
marriage
is,
now that it's business contracts, and so it goes back into the church's hands. So
a business contract would still have the state would be involved in that.
Well,
because
that's-
who's going to uphold the contract when he tries to break it.
Civil court.
So you can't
well,
really
the church
take,
could be part of that with marriage, which in the polygamous and Mormon communities that are church is their judge and jury.
So it's not the issue of making it legal; it's just the issue of let people do what they want to do.
Let it
right?
happen,
Yeah.
and then watch
No
what
limitations.
happens to the government.
So let me ask you this.
No limitations
Loss of
on marriage,
control,
basically.
right? Yeah.
Let me ask you this.
Even with anything.
Right.
All right. So if it's kind of another turn to this conversation. If the like we take marriage out of government's hand, which I'm actually a big fan of this idea, right? They have no business being in the business of marriage anyway, because I do believe it's a religious thing, and therefore, why is the government involved in this?
We got me
right?
involved because of money.
Right. Exactly. Right.
The
So
non-workings of
I will give them what they want in the sense that there's a spiritual thing that's happening in the union of marriage, and there's a contractual thing that is happening in the union of marriage, and the government can be in the contract, courts, etc., arbitrate. The disagreement of a contract.
civil union.
That's the day in and day out routine, right? So everybody wins in this scenario, right? So if 3 adults want to be in a contract together, fine, whatever, let them do it, right? If man and man want to do it. If 2 females do it, whatever. That's on y'all's contract, right? I'm not going to call that marriage unless you have a church that calls that marriage, and that's on y'all's in that church, right? So now my question is this. This is a crazy, I'm going to hit y'all from a totally different angle on this. My question is this: should no-fault divorces be gotten rid of? Because now, in other words, the state is arbitrating between 2 positions in a contract.
Oh wow, great great.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That also,
And so you can't, if that contract is going to be dissolved, you can't have a no-fault situation.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're depending. If you're getting married, your income becomes
Which-
one. Everything you buy becomes yours, not.
So
You know what I mean?
So like, I'll give you a real-world example, right? Husband and wife married, and they spend 10 years building up their civil contract business of their union. They have real estate that they own, all this stuff, right? Husband and wife. Both parties have been executing the contract fairly until the last year of this contract. The husband has been having an affair with another woman. He violates the contract and the trust of the contract. Now, in the state of Texas and many states, there's no fault divorce. So he can just file for a divorce, and the woman in this situation who has operated faithfully and truly to the contract up to this point basically gets screwed in this situation.
Yeah, for adultery.
Right? Anybody who has operated with fairness up to this point gets screwed because they're assuming
you're
it's
just polygamy into the government.
So they're like check it out. So they're in this situation, the courts say it's 50-50. Anything you've built together, it's split. That screws the person who actually honestly upheld their end of the contract. See what I'm saying?
Well, so then in our society, there would be 2 different things. There would be the proceedings to dissolve the partnership, and then possibly there's a harmed party here,
Right.
who could sue in civil court for damages that was,
I like that.
Yeah.
like, hey,
So-
we're dissolving this, we're splitting this all up, but guess what? I had another 30 years of growth and building
you
in
just
this
jacked.
that you just ruined, and you are responsible for damages to me.
Yeah.
Now,
you set me
how that
back.
plays out, I can't really see in my head. But
It's
yeah.
interesting though, right? It's an interesting angle.
One thing about the polygamy thing, I mean, I don't know if I can find this a little bit reassuring, is that we've only had the conversation in the boundaries of marriage, right? What
So
about
this is where I was going with it. And I
what
think-
about unmarried people? What about
Right.
college kids?
I don't think the government should
Well,
have
you know what-
anything to say about who I sleep with, and that's a church problem.
You know, what if it's not living with
Unless it's
people?
in a
What if it's
contract.
just I want to have different partners on Tuesdays or Thursdays or
Well,
January?
that's polyamory.
Does the people believe they can? What happens is I like 3 different girls and they're all different, and the girls are like me, so they're all happy together.
Why wouldn't
know?
they like you?
Yeah,
Right.
So, and I see everybody different. I want a different girl each week, because
doesn't?
I seen that, especially in that.
I do.
It's a love. I love them all equally.
Yeah.
I mean,
I got a lot of love to give.
We're talking about
She has enough
Some people don't have
personalities.
that much.
So because the rules and institutions, we're only allowed to love one person at a time, and also we had a lot of more divorce than ever in today. So maybe there's something in the system we need to fix or find a way to change it, or I don't know. Yeah. Because the law may be too strict, make it so many marital problems for kids because specific things. Yeah.
It's the internet's fault. I'm only kind of half joking about that. It's the perception of availability, right? When you lived on a farm and your nearest neighbor was like 75 miles from you, it was like a 3-day horse ride, right?
Yeah.
Your options to screw
Didn't
around
have a cell phone.
or think that you get to or could
Yeah, it's true.
are
That's
way more limited, right?
There's no
But now you log in and you've got like
yeah.
exactly. Now you log in and you got like 15 people in your inbox, despite the fact your status says married, and and off you go. So it's like,
You know who you
hey,
are.
Hey, but you know
with the pokes, with the pokes, what is that? Stop the pokes.
Oh, don't get
especially
started
you,
on
Aunt
social
Donna.
media.
Seriously.
Hashtag no pokes. I don't. So it's bad enough with the girls that do the poke thing. I don't understand the guys that do
I
the
love
poke
the
thing.
poke
It's kind of
thing.
weird to me. I
get
get
poked-
Facebook poking.
It's just a natural thing we're used to doing.
So one thing that I'll touch on, and it's not really like, I'm just almost playing devil's advocate because I don't know that I 100% agree with this, but I can see it where if I could get my head around it, I could.
Right.
And that is back to the government involvement in defining marriage between one man and one woman, and that is that a lot of my more conservative family faith type political friends, they will say that like the one of the main purposes of a government is to create like basically an environment that is prosperous and successful and whatever, and that throughout time there has been a case made that a single nuclear family with one man and one woman, children, in growing in communities is what is most beneficial for the society. And
Works
so
the best.
and so therefore, if a government allows something that is contradictory to the best interest of the society, don't they have an obligation to make it illegal? So, like I said, I'm more libertarian on this issue, but I'm saying that I understand that conversation. Now, whether it truly is the most beneficial, or whatever.
That's a difficult argument. That's a difficult argument. What do you think? Go ahead, jump in.
I think, the government is not going to be able to define a marriage between a man and a woman. You have transgender females, transgender males out there getting married. I don't even know what their sex is anymore. That's nothing against them. But I'm serious.
Right,
You know what I mean? It's like, so is that a man and a woman, or is a woman and a man that are getting
It's
married?
too
right?
confusing.
Whatever they define as is where our society's at. And us as a society, the more of a bigger deal we make out about this, the more that we are showing our children who are striving for attention that maybe they should go towards that movement and think that that's okay. You know what I mean?
Good point.
So the bigger we make the issue,
Right.
the more of an influence it's going to have on our children and other people watching. So don't make it a bigger issue than it needs to
We're
be.
creating a marketplace.
Exactly right.
For
civil
attention.
rights
Yeah.
and Al Sharpton and all these other guys out there that are making money off
an
of
interesting
innocent
point.
people just because of their beliefs.
That's an interesting point.
Yeah, because like I
It's a
said,
craft beer.
There is a social responsibility. Also, there's a moral issue too. There's that's what's I think most times here. You love multiple person. Are you really, good enough to do that? We're not talking about financial religion, just about morally.
It's hard to love.
I will.
one person.
I'll
It's
put
very
it-
hard. It's very
It's
hard.
very hard to love one person.
You
with
have a
your
3
whole heart
dog.
and
Which
all
you
your
like?
attention.
Which
I
dog
was
you
just
like
gonna
more?
say-
I feel like if you're in a polygamous relationship, you're missing out on a lot of attention that you should be getting from your partner. No? There's times
You're the
that
opposite
me and
side
my
of all
wife are
that.
sitting there and I don't even want to hang out with her. And then it becomes
Well-
that moment where
Yeah,
I wouldn't want to be anywhere else or
or
with another person.
I'm sure
you know
she
what I
has
mean?
the
Just-
But a human being is a social animal. Maybe
I'm
it's
with
more
you.
the
I
people, the
love my
better.
wife.
Right.
And
more
I
the
love
better.
time away from her too.
I do need my alone time to focus on, in me, how I'm not loving my wife. I do need that separation and downtime. Whereas it becomes almost like a drug, an anesthetic. If I get to say, yeah, I'm not happy with this, so I'm just going to go sit with her, this other girl, and have her attention and her affection and all that. I don't really ever have to do any self-reflection then if I can bounce from person to person
you're not
and
giving
get what
it
I
full
need
attention,
from
yeah.
each. Yeah. And likewise, I'm not mastering or working on giving my spouse the full attention that she needs if I have the option to receive what I want from other
Great
people.
point. Yeah.
The trouble was people don't think that much.
Something to
They
think.
don't
Yeah, something to think.
Yeah,
about.
They don't think that much.
My thing was
in
more
detail.
along the lines of it's easier for me to love other people than it is myself, because that's just the way I am. So it's a blind love for me. I don't have to trust you. You can do me wrong, I'm still gonna love you because it's just love.
Right.
I can give that out as much as I possibly can until I'm like, oh gosh, I gotta remember to keep some of that. You know, and that's where I'm at.
Defense mechanism on your part because you don't love yourself.
Well, it's not about loving
saying?
myself because I do love myself, but
Right.
if I took all the love that I have to give and I put it back onto me, I would be an egocentric, jerk.
Right.
Right. I almost said it. Right, but to me, I got all this love inside me. I'm like, look, love, and it's not about sex with me. Right. So sex to me is more. I would like to give that to one person. I'm not polygamous, but I do believe that different people can provide different amounts of attention for you and require different amounts of attentions from you. And as a group, you could be in a harmonious environment because, I've dated girls that don't like a lot of attention, right? But I love attention, right? And so if they don't like attention, they don't really like giving it, but we're happy hanging out, but then I feel like I need attention, I'm like pulling for her. She doesn't want to give it, I'm like, okay, well, she's like, go find someone to give you attention. I got stuff to do, right? But I still love her.
My wife's never said that.
And so, we have to wrap up.
We had to wrap it up.
We're
Sorry.
already past time. No, I didn't even want to stop you. It's great stuff. I want to quickly say in response that from a Christian perspective, there's different types of love. And so you're describing a filial love or a brotherly love.
Absolutely.
And so I can give love to as many people as I possibly can and should on a filial level, right? On a brotherly love. By the way, the city of Philadelphia is the city of brotherly love. That's where that comes from.
Okay.
Phileo, the city of brotherly love.
That's cool.
But yeah, it's a cool little tidbit on the side. But when it comes to a spouse and agape love and spiritual love and the highest form of love, that's something that you have to master and work on over a lifetime. And if you divided it up amongst everybody, you're doing an injustice to that one person.
And you'll know when you find it.
That's the
thing.
So we are out, man. We got to hear this dude play a killer song, man.
Yes.
He's a guy. He's about to knock it out of the park. So, William, what are you gonna play, and where can we find it? And take it away.
You can find it right here, Art of Dispute, the one and only. This will be our first single released, so hope y'all like it. This is us, busted at the seams. I give up on our love just to chase them six-string dreams. I came up short and planned on my return. Hard to sift through the ashes and all them bridges that I let burn. And I've been twisted and I've been torn. A cursed man since the day I was born. Take me back when the old blue bonnets roll. Find me out on a dim lit stage. The devil said it'd be all the rage. But I'm still twisted and I'm still torn. Everything we'd shared, yeah, behind this old guitar. Playing a song for no one at all underneath that old Lone Star. I found myself in a bottle, snorting up my far I'd gone, and now it ain't about the thrills. And I've been twisted and I've been torn, a cursed man since the day I was born. Take me back when the moon blue bonnets grow, to find me out on a damn wet stain. The devil said it'd be all the rage, but I've been twisted and I've been torn. And I recall the day you introduced me to the Lord. But here as I look back, sinking whiskey, I got bored. I see you in a white dress, smiling back at me. That auburn hair, and I know I am free. So I ain't twisted and I ain't torn, still loving on my firstborn. But you here by my side tonight. Who the hell needs a damn lit stage? Think I'll just stay with my wife, Paige, 'cause I ain't twisted and I ain't torn.